in this video. I know where I lost 2021 and it wasn't at Austin, says Pecco Bagnaia. We make up for our lack of resources by our heart and imagination, says Gigi Dall'Igna. Oliveira was completely destroyed in his head, says Pit Beirer. And is the Indonesian GP already in trouble even before the inaugural race? My name is Sankalp and this is your Racing News Fix. Trying not to lose heart, Pecco knows that Fabio finishing ahead of him at Texas left little to no hope for his title campaign. But still, Pecco said that P3 was the best he could manage on that day, and despite all the self-proclaimed experts defining that P3 was the moment where Pecco lost 2021, Pecco disagrees. He said, "I don't want to lower my morale. You have to be happy when you know you gave everything. I certainly won't give up, but Fabio has done a great job this year. He was the fastest in the first part of the season and definitely the most consistent. I know very well where I lost the points which I needed to win this year. Most of them were due to my mistakes and problems, but certainly it wasn't in Texas. It started much earlier in the year and I don't think there was one single deciding point." From winglets in 2010 to ride-height devices in recent years, we have seen a lot of outside-the-box thinking from Ducati in modern era alone. In 2021, the Desmo Sedici is arguably the most well-rounded bike on the grid. It is obviously a rocket on the straights, but the GP21 turns with relative ease as well. Also, the GP21 doesn't shred the tire like the GP20 did last year, making it a very well-rounded package. Speaking about all the nice things we are hearing this year about the Ducati, proud Gigi Dall'Igna said, "It is clear that it is a pleasure to see that everyone speaks well of Ducati. We have a group of people at home who work amazingly to get these results. I am very happy for them. For a factory, it is very important to be a constant protagonist over time, and I believe that Ducati has now managed to achieve that goal. From the point of view of the manufacturer, that is the most important thing. It is clear that for people, it is important to win Riders' World Championship. For us, it is the icing on the cake. But we must continue to work like this, and I think sooner or later, Riders' title, which we deserve, will also arrive." The Japanese factories like Honda and Yamaha are known to have vast resources and even bigger budgets for MotoGP. They also have a large number of people working in their MotoGP divisions. Gigi explains how Ducati manages to challenge and beat the Japanese factories despite lack of resources. He said, "We are just over 100 people in the Ducati racing department, and what we lack of resources we put with our heart and fantasy or imagination. Imagination is one of the most important aspects of life, and that includes imagination on a technical level." When asked about the next iteration of the Desmo Sedici, Gigi remained tight-lipped. All he said is, "We are working on different things that we hope will bear the fruit we want." KTM's 2021 season has been nothing short of a roller coaster. They started on a back foot with the riders reporting a lack of feeling in the front, further exaggerated by the change in tire allocation by Michelin. Soon hope returned to the Austrian factory where Miguel Oliveira scored 3 consecutive podiums, including a dominant win at Barcelona. Oliveira was suddenly even considered a secret title contender. Speaking about that time, Pit Beirer said, "After Miguel's second place at Mugello, his victory in Barcelona and another second place at Sachsenring, everyone had a sigh of relief and said that these were exactly the right steps. With such results, you do not doubt anything. We went into the summer break and said, okay, we have just taken a good step, so let's work on the bike for the next year. But in reality, 3 or 4 tracks deceived us a bit about the character of the bike. After the summer break, the plot switched again. Oliveira got injured and the RC16 looked flawed again." Speaking about the race's post-summer break, Pit continued, "Miguel was injured in Spielberg, and in the week before the second Spielberg GP, he was still ill. Nobody noticed that. Afterwards, he didn't score a point in 3 races. Therefore, he was completely destroyed in his head. If a rider is not doing well, you don't need to start testing and trying out details. Of course, that didn't help. If you as a factory have a performance weakness and the rider is in a bad phase, it becomes very difficult to get out of this cycle. Luckily, Brad Binder fought bravely against this phase. He was always in the top 10. His worst result since the summer break was a 9th place. He has always moved forward in the race and is 6th in the World Championship." In the second week of October, the World Anti-Doping Agency declared the National Anti-Doping Organization for Indonesia and Thailand. The 2 countries were among those ruled as being non-compliant with the World Anti-Doping Code. Indonesia's non-compliance was as a result of non-conformities in implementing an effective testing program. Thailand's was due to a lack of full implementation of the 2021 version of the WADA code within the legal system. Where it all becomes relevant to us MotoGP fans is the part where it says in the rules, the signatories countries may not be awarded the right to host regional, continental or world championships or events organized by any major event organization for the entire period of non-compliance. This raised clouds of uncertainty over the Indonesian World SBK round at the new Mandalika circuit in November, as well as the inaugural MotoGP race in March, along with Thailand's Buriram event in October next year. As per WADA rules, both Indonesia and Thailand are not allowed to be awarded hosting rights for the new events whilst non-compliant. But luckily for them and for us, there is a clause in the rules which states that if the events have already been awarded, then they may remain as host but without the use of their national flag. In other words, since both the countries have multi-year contracts in place for MotoGP and WSBK before the non-compliance ruling happened, these events can go ahead as planned, but no new agreements can be signed until the reinstatement. Although the saga has a happy ending, it got really scary for a bit for Indonesian and Thai fans. If you made it till here, let me know by giving this video a big thumbs up. To stay up to date on all things MotoGP, hit the subscribe button and don't forget the notification bell. Here are 2 more videos which you might enjoy. My name is Sankalp and I'll be back with another video very soon.